Hello everyone, my name is Saksham Dikshit and this is my channel Pentest Diaries. So in this video itself, we'll continue the same series of Solidity programming series itself, and in this video I'll try to cover up a dynamic size array itself. So in the last video, as we have discussed about the fixed size array, what's the benefit of the fixed size array, I have just covered in the last video itself. Now in this video I'll try to cover dynamic size array itself and why we required that. Okay, so we'll start with the theory part first, and then I have two codes for it, which I'll just showcase you what exactly a difference between it and why we required the dynamic and why we required the fixed. Okay, so difference, few things I have explained in the last video also, but I'll try to get it explain you once again for the dynamic one section also, and I'll try to give it a comparison also in a little bit way. So in case of dynamic array itself, in Solidity, if you want an array whose size can change dynamically during execution, you should use a data structure called as dynamic array or dynamic size array. So where we have not defined any size itself, we are not aware about the size itself, then in that case we are preferring with a dynamic size array itself instead of going with a fixed size array. In fixed size array, as we have already discussed about in the last video, like if we know how many items are required in that stuff itself as per a requirement, then in that case we can go ahead further with that fixed size array. But in case if we are not aware about the number of items, and in case if we want to use it array, then in that case we have to go with a dynamic one, so that there is nothing like a constraint we have it. Okay, and in Solidity this is commonly achieved using the push method on a storage array. Okay, so using the push method we can achieve this. Now if we're talking about gas efficiency, that is a most important thing which I have discussed in last, in case of fixed one, it's bit in control as we are aware about the size of the array. So in that case a gas efficiency is in limited zone itself, but in case of dynamic one, it's not, definitely it's not in control itself. That was the reason behind it. Wheresoever we have a requirement of the dynamic where the items is not fixed, then only we have to prefer with it, as the consumption of the gas is bit higher as compared to the fixed one. That's all about the theory part. So now we go to the practical section. We just have to see the codes first. So I'll start with this section for it. This is the code, first code for it. So in this code itself, as you can see, this is a standard syntax. Okay, now the name of the contract we have defined as a dynamic size array. Now this is a state variable which we are defining over here itself. Now this is a function. In this we have mentioned that we are giving as an input from our side as we are pushing it. So in case of push function, we are giving an input as an item itself from our side, which is get pushed instead of the array itself, which we have defined as a state variable. We are trying to push an element over there itself. Now go to the next function where we are trying to calculate the length of it and return the length itself. Okay, so we are returning the length of it. So that's a straightforward thing. We are just using a straightforward arr dot length. So this is the variable and this is dot length. When we're trying to calculate the length of the array, we have to use this. So if I forget to mention in the last video, so I'll try to mention over here itself. So dot length is one of the syntax which we have to use it just to identify the length of the array. Now if I'm talking about something, take it out, pop out. You might be heard about push and pop. So pop is just taking out something. So if we have an array of 1 or 2 and if we want to take it something out, so if we click on the pop once, it will take out once whatever the variable, and then it take it out once, then take it out 2. So whatever inside of it, push is taking example like pushing a variable 1, 2, 3, 4. Similar like that in case of pop also, that one item will be reduced from the same array itself. So that's the functionality and difference between a pop and the push. So in this case, straightforward, we are using the same syntax itself, r.pop, and by that way we are removing the items from the array. Okay, so let me run the code now, so you can able to understand what actually is happening with that. So let me deploy this. Once I'll deploy the code, so initially nothing is there in my array. I'll click on it and you can see I'm just getting that one as nothing is there inside of it. Now I'll push one item, and which is 23. Once I'll push 23, so by default is going on which, I'll show you that. If I'll mention over here ARR, if I'll just putting a pointer as 1, then in that case I'm not getting any output, as this value is pushed to 0, not on 1. So the item will be started from 0, 1, 2, 3. So when we try to push the value, so if it's a first value, it's going on 0. If I will just push another value, it's going on 0, then it's going to the 1, then it's going to 2, 3, 4. Okay, accordingly. So if I try to see that on 0, then in that case I can get the output as 23. So 23 is stored on 0, array number 0. Okay, it's a pointer number 1. Now if I'll try to see the length of it, it's 1. Take example, if I'll try to push another value also over here. Okay, and then I'll try to see the value over here for 1. So you can see it's 34 I can able. So now the length become 2, as we have pushed 2 values. So 2 things are over there itself, and the length is 2. And on 1 we are having 34, and on 0 we have 23. If I'll just click on PopMat, and then again I'll just click on this. So by this I'll remove one item out of it, and then I'll try to click on the length. Then in that case the length become 1. And if I'll try to see now 1, if I'll try to click on 0, oh sorry, I forget to. So let me okay, there is some glitch itself. But if I try to see on 1, you can see I'm not seeing the value now 34, as its only length is 1. So 1, the value which is pointing to 1, it's already removed. So if I'll try it like the output, just forget about this output, I'm not sure why it's coming over here itself. But if I'll refresh it and try to see that, if I'll click on 0, I can able to see this. If I'll try to use it for 2, even for 2 also the same thing happening. So I think this is coming by default itself. So just forget about this. But over here itself there is no value right now we present on 1, on pointer 1. Okay, so that's the thing in the first code itself. Now we go to the next code. So in this code itself, it's similar like a fixed size array, but over here we are not defining a size of it. That was the reason we are using as a dynamic sized array. And the whole code is the same, which we are using it from the last one. And over here also we are trying to return the whole array itself, which is a dynamic one over itself. This is not the preferred one, as I have discussed in the fixed one also, which is not preferred one, as it's consume a lot of gas itself, as we are returning the whole array. But just to demonstrate purpose, I'll showcase you for the dynamic one also, as we don't have any length for it. So whatever the value we're defining over here itself, it's get returned if we try to run it. Okay, so let me delete this, compile this code, deploy this, and go to this section for it. So you can say over here itself, if I'll just mention 1, so you can see the value as 299. If I'll say 3, so I can see the value is 545. Okay, if I'll try to return the whole array, so you can return the whole array over here. So you can see I can return the whole array. So that's the functionality of it, similar like a fixed one, but over here itself, as it's dynamic, so there is no constraint of the length itself of the array itself, as it's dynamic. Okay, so that's all about the difference. I just want to get it covered in this video itself, and how it is different from the fixed size array itself. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel. If you have any comment, you can provide your comment feedback in the comment section of this video. So thank you so much once again. Take care. Bye bye.